Have you ever just felt completely swamped? Like your energy tank is just always hovering near empty and your calendar feels like it's running you, not the other way around.
Oh, definitely. That feeling of being stretched way too thin.
Exactly. And maybe you find yourself saying yes all the time to things you don't actually want to do. You end up feeling drained, maybe a bit resentful, just completely off balance.
It's such a common picture, isn't it? A life where time feels totally out of control and you feel like your personal energy is just leaking away.
Right. But what if protecting those resources, your time, your energy, what if that isn't actually selfish? What if it's like vital?
Yeah.
A kind of self-preservation that's absolutely key for your own growth.
It's more than vital. I'd say it's foundational. So today we're doing a deep dive into healthy boundaries, specifically for self-improvement.
Okay.
Our mission here is to look at some really practical strategies, stuff drawn from, health, psychology, personal development.
The whole picture.
Yeah, the whole picture. We want to help you not just sort of reclaim your time and energy, but to really build boundaries that stick. Boundaries that actually support a more fulfilling life.
Okay, so let's get into it. Why is this so hard? We know boundaries are important intellectually. It's like everyone tells you to set boundaries.
Right, it's common advice.
But actually doing it consistently, that seems to be where many of us stumble. What's really going on underneath when people struggle with this?
Well, it often goes deeper than just, needing better time management skills. One big reason, often kind of hidden, is just being in a state of chronic stress or overwhelm.
Ah,
When your nervous system is always on high alert and your to-do list feels never-ending, your brain just goes into survival mode. It's really hard to think strategically about boundaries when you're just trying to make it through the day or even the next hour.
so you just react, basically.
Uh,
Take on too much because it feels urgent.
exactly. Or you mistake being constantly busy for being productive, which is a really common trap.
That makes so much sense. And then there's the other big one, the people-pleasing thing.
Yeah.
I know I can fall into that sometimes.
We all can.
That fear of disappointing someone or being seen as selfish, so you just put everyone else first. It can feel almost like an addiction, as some people describe it.
Yeah.
What's the psychology behind that?
Yeah, it can definitely feel compulsive. And it often ties into something deeper, which is our sense of self-worth, or maybe a fragile sense of self-worth. If you primarily get your feeling of value from external validation, from being needed, from being helpful, then your own internal sense of self can feel a bit weak.
So saying no feels threatening.
Exactly. Saying no might risk losing that approval, which can feel like a threat to your very identity. It creates this cycle. Weak boundaries lead to a weaker sense of self, which makes it even harder to set boundaries.
Wow.
And that vulnerability, that's why people pleasers, and often perfectionists too, are so prone to overworking and burnout. They're essentially sacrificing their own well-being on the altar of external approval or some impossible ideal.
That connection to self-worth is really powerful. Okay, so if that's why we struggle, let's flip it. Let's talk about the power of healthy boundaries. How do they actually help us? You call them foundational. I sometimes think of them as like invisible shields.
That's a great analogy. They really are shields. They protect your energy, your time, your emotional well-being, all finite resources. And for any kind of personal growth, that protection is it's non-negotiable.
Right.
Take energy management, for instance. We talk a lot about time, but energy is maybe the deeper currency. We absolutely need time for solitude, for quiet reflection, just to recharge, especially introverts or highly sensitive people. A really useful thing to do is actively identify what gives you energy. Maybe call those your green cards and what drains it your red cards.
Okay, I like that. Green cards and red cards.
Yeah, and it's not just activities. It can be people, environments, even certain ways of thinking. Once you recognize these patterns, you can consciously choose more green card situations and minimize the red card ones. Your energy starts to rebound.
Focusing on energy, not just time. That feels like a shift. And I guess that directly links to stress reduction and mental health too.
Absolutely. Limiting those overwhelming interactions, those commitments that just drain you, it significantly cuts down on chronic stress and anxiety. It's like preventative medicine for burnout.
Yeah.
Healthy boundaries are just fundamental for good mental health. They create that buffer, that personal space. And here's the bit that often surprises people.
What's that?
Clear boundaries actually lead to healthier, more authentic relationships.
That feels counterintuitive, right? Like you're pushing people away.
It can feel like that initially.
Yeah.
But when you set clear expectations, you actually start attracting people who respect you for who you are and respect your needs. You move away from relationships based on obligation towards ones built on real connection and mutual respect. Much more sustainable.
Healthier relationships, not worse ones. That's a key takeaway.
Yeah.
And practically speaking, having that protected space must also help with focus, right? Deeper thinking, better work.
Definitely. It boosts productivity, not necessarily in doing more stuff, but in doing things better with more focus. And as we touched on, it's a powerful act of self-respect. Every time you hold a boundary, you're telling yourself, my needs matter.
And that builds resilience.
Directly. Resilience isn't just bouncing back, it's also having the inner resources to manage stress, to withstand challenges, even to anticipate them. Prioritizing your needs through boundaries makes you inherently more resilient.
Okay.
You're better equipped emotionally, you can keep perspective, and paradoxically, when you operate from a place of fullness, not depletion, you can actually show up better for the people you care about too.
Okay, so we understand the why and the what. Let's get practical. For someone listening who's thinking, okay, I need this, what's the action plan? How do we actually start setting these boundaries day to day?
Right, the how. Step one is really about analyzing and prioritizing your commitments.
Ruthlessly.
Well, the common problem is we fall into the trap of the tyranny of the urgent. All these things feel pressing, but maybe they aren't actually important in the long run. We try to do it all.
Guilty. Trying to juggle everything.
Yeah, so the solution isn't just a longer to-do list. It's identifying your top 1 or 2 absolute non-negotiable priorities for right now, for this season of your life.
Okay, like a new baby or maybe a big project at work.
Exactly. Or maybe focusing on your health. Pick just a few things and commit to doing those really well, and then be brutally honest about your actual capacity, your time, and your energy.
So if you realistically only have, say, 20 good hours a week, not the 40 you used to have.
Acknowledge that. Own it. And that probably means making some cuts, maybe stepping back from that networking group, saying no to being room mom this year, letting go of hosting every single holiday. It's about creating space.
Making conscious choices about where the yes goes.
Precisely. And once those priorities are crystal clear, step 2 is tracking your time and your energy.
Back to the energy tracking.
Yes. Don't just list what you did. Track how long supporting activities took, but also, crucially, note how you felt your energy levels before, during, after.
Like a coach tracking client hours, but also noticing which calls leave them drained.
Exactly. And if you see a pattern, a task consistently takes too long or just wipes you out, that's your signal. Can you outsource it? Automate it. Find a faster, less draining way. This gives you real data on where your resources are going.
Okay, analyze and prioritize, then track time and energy. What's next?
Step 3 is time blocking. And I mean blocking everything.
Not just work tasks.
Nope. Block your personal time, your workouts, your quiet time, family dinners, everything that supports your priorities. Use a calendar, digital or paper, whatever works for you. Create a framework for your week.
Doesn't that feel really rigid? Less spontaneous?
It might seem that way at first, but honestly, that structure paradoxically creates more freedom. It protects your important stuff from getting swallowed by the urgent but unimportant noise. It helps you focus.
Okay, I can see that. Structure creates freedom. Then what?
Step 4 is proactively defining and communicating your availability. This is huge. Set clear working hours, for example. And then the important part, tell people, clients, colleagues, even family.
Just stating it removes that unspoken pressure to always be on.
It really does. And ask yourself some tough questions. How do you actually want people to treat your time? Are last-minute demands okay, or do they throw you off? What kind of energy do you want in your space? Remember, emotional boundaries are just as critical as time boundaries.
Emotional boundaries.
Right.
Which brings us to step 5, the big one for many people. Mastering the art of saying no.
The dreaded no. But here's the cool principle.
No.
No is a complete sentence.
You don't always need a long explanation or apology.
Exactly. You don't need to justify protecting your capacity.
So how do you get better at it, especially if you're a people pleaser?
Start small. Practice in low-stakes situations. Decline a casual invite you're not really feeling. Say no to an extra task at work that isn't crucial. Build the muscle.
Okay. Little steps.
And if you're put on the spot, buy time. Let me check my schedule and get back to you. That simple phrase is gold. It stops that reactive, guilt-driven yes.
Good tip. And what about that sandwich technique I've heard about?
Yes, the sandwich. It can soften the no, frame it between two positives. Thanks so much for thinking of me for this. Unfortunately, I just don't have the bandwidth right now. I really appreciate you asking, though.
Nice. Polite but clear.
You can also offer alternatives, if it feels right. Can't do dinner, but maybe coffee next week. Or, I can't lead the project, but I could contribute in this specific way.
Okay. And you mentioned something about shifting responsibility using you statements. How does that work?
Yes, this is powerful. Instead of always jumping in to fix things with I statements, I can help you with that, I will figure it out, learn to acknowledge their issue and then gently hand the responsibility back.
Like how?
Using phrases like, wow, that sounds tough. Hopefully that works out for you. Or that's definitely something for you to consider. Or even, I trust you'll find a good solution.
So you're supportive, but not taking ownership of their problem.
Exactly. You shift from being the rescuer to being a supportive listener. It respects their agency and protects your energy.
That's a subtle but really important shift. And of course, the classic oxygen mask analogy, put yours on first.
Always. You can't pour from an empty cup. It's basic physics, really.
So true. Now, what about the digital world? Screens are everywhere. They feel like a special case for boundaries.
They really are. A huge, often sneaky energy drainer because they often disguise themselves as connection or productivity.
Right. So how do we handle digital boundaries? We can't just unplug completely.
No, it's about being intentional. Again, start small. Create short, sacred, screen-free windows, maybe lunchtime, the first hour of the morning, the hour before bed.
Okay.
And pair that time with something restorative you enjoy, reading a real book, journaling, going for a walk, just sitting quietly. Make it a positive choice, not a punishment.
Use tech to fight tech.
You absolutely can. Use your phone's built-in features, set app limits, use focus modes, schedule downtime where only urgent calls get through. Try grayscale mode, makes the screen way less appealing.
I've heard about grayscale. And physical boundaries too, right? Like charging phones outside the bedroom?
Yes. Create a charging station elsewhere. Make your bedroom a tech-free sanctuary for rest. It can make a massive difference to sleep.
And communicate your digital availability too, I guess.
Definitely. Let people know when you generally respond to messages. The key mindset shift is seeing this as self-respect, as choosing presence, not self-denial.
Choosing presence. I like that.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got the steps, we've got the digital angle, but then comes the really hard part maybe, sticking to them, especially when people react badly.
Yes. The ultimate test. Sticking to boundaries takes real self-respect and ongoing mindset work. You have to keep asking, why am I hesitating? Why am I not prioritizing myself here?
It feels uncomfortable.
It will feel uncomfortable, especially at first. Change is always awkward, but you cannot control how other people react. They might get angry, surprised, frustrated. They might try to guilt you.
So what's our responsibility then?
Your responsibility is to communicate your boundary clearly and respectfully. That's it. How they feel about it, how they react, that's theirs to manage, not yours.
That's a huge relief, actually. Just focusing on your own communication. I remember a client, a vet, who used to feel she had to be almost aggressive to get respect. But she realized boundaries aren't about forcing others, but just stating her choices. Like, this is how I operate, this is how you can interact with me. It brought her so much peace.
That's exactly it. It's about stating your reality, not controlling theirs. We see this in many professions. People using separate work phones, clear auto replies, stating response times, simple, clear distinctions.
Yeah. Or like that person who schedules work around their horse riding passion. They just say, that time isn't available.
Yeah.
No massive explanation needed.
Exactly. They respect their own priorities enough to protect them, and ultimately the relationships that matter, the ones worth keeping, they will adjust. People who truly care about you will come to respect your boundaries, even if it takes time.
And if they don't?
Then that's information, isn't it? Their reaction isn't your responsibility. You're just defining what works for you.
Right. And it's a practice, not perfection.
Absolutely. It's an ongoing journey. You'll slip up sometimes, revert to old habits. That's okay. Celebrate the small wins, be patient, be kind to yourself. Every time you hold a boundary, you're strengthening that self-worth muscle.
Okay, so wrapping this all up then, what's the core message we want people to take away from this deep dive?
I think the main thing is that healthy boundaries aren't just a nice-to-have self-care accessory. They are absolutely non-negotiable for genuine self-improvement, for sustained well-being.
They're the foundation, like you said.
They're the foundation, the architecture that protects your energy, your time. They boost your mental health, build resilience, and actually lead to better, more authentic relationships. It's truly an act of self-love.
And that allows you to show up better for yourself and, in the end, for others too.
Exactly, because you're operating from a full tank. It's about guarding your most important currency, the fuel for living a life that actually feels like yours.
So the final thought for our listeners.
Maybe this. Take a moment to really consider what a just right life looks and feels like for you. Not based on anyone else's expectations, just yours. And now, knowing you have these tools to protect your time and energy, what's one boundary, just one, that you can commit to setting or holding firm on starting today? What's one step you can take towards that ideal?
That's a really powerful question to end on. Food for thought and hopefully action. Thank you so much for sharing all this wisdom today.
My pleasure.
And thank you for joining us on this deep dive. We hope it's given you some practical tools and encouragement on your own journey. Until next time, protect your energy, protect your time. Take care.